you about how we've seen the love of money destroy relationships. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And some of us have experienced this even within our own families. I know that I certainly have seen the damage it can do. To have wealth is to have power. And so it's probably inevitable that people are going to pursue wealth and that we're going to squabble about it. Now again, the love of money is one of the things that can cause deep rifts between people, especially when we use other people for the purpose of satisfying our appetite for more material wealth. The great 20th century preacher and peace activist William Sloane Coffin sums up this problem quite well when he writes, quote, "There are people and things in this world, and people are to be loved, and things are to be used. And it is increasingly important that we love people and use things, for there is so much in our gadget-minded, consumer-oriented society that is encouraging us to love things and use people." When we love things and use people, we create chasms between ourselves and others. And once those chasms open up, it can be very hard to heal the wounds. Sadly, sometimes even when you and I try to follow Jesus' way of reaching out with forgiveness and compassion to someone we've hurt, or to someone who's hurt us, there will still be times when the chasm remains fixed because the other person refuses to reach across and grab the hand that we've extended in love. Dear sisters and brothers in Christ, because you and I have been created to be in loving relationships, being so completely cut off from a loved one and from God is the most painful experience of all. I'd even go so far as to say it's kind of a living hell. Close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself, what are the chasms that exist between me and other people? What are the chasms that exist between me and God? What caused those chasms to become fixed between us? Could there be some chasms I don't see, much as the rich man didn't see the chasm he had created between himself and Lazarus during his lifetime? Now open your eyes and let's ask another question together. How can we hope to bridge all those chasms in our lives? Strangely enough, the answer to that question is hidden, like a treasure. The answer to that question is hidden like a treasure in today's gospel lesson. We can find a bridge over the chasms. So, at first glance, when we read the parable of the rich man and Lazarus, it might not seem like it has much good news in it for you and me as we confront the chasms of our lives. But the good news is there. The good news is there in the one who is telling the story. It's there because he's the one God sent into the world to reveal God's love for the whole human family and to teach us to take hold of the life that really is life. My friends, Jesus is the bridge. He's the bridge across all the chasms that separate us from God and from each other. And when you and I follow in his way of forgiveness and compassion and generosity, an amazing thing happens. We begin to find healing and reconciliation. And in time, the chasms begin to close up, much as a wound does when it's healing. Sisters and brothers, when those dark chasms open up before us, and the terror that they hold, it's good to know that we're not alone. Because God has promised to be there with us and for us. Indeed, God is always most present in the very places we least expect to find God. In the manger, on the cross, and in the gaping chasms that exist within us and between us. Many years ago, I heard a wonderful funeral sermon in which the pastor quoted the familiar verse from 1 Timothy, "We brought nothing into the world so that we can take nothing out of it." And then that pastor went on to say, it's true that we bring nothing into the world, but there is one thing that we can take with us. Our faith. Our faith in the unshakable promises of God. And that makes all the difference in the world. What can we say to that except amen? Amen. Dear friends in Christ, our God who has claimed us as God's own beloved children in holy baptism has made us an unbreakable promise. God says to us, "I will not abandon you. When you are lost, I will find you, and I will carry you home on my shoulders rejoicing. When you stumble, I will raise you up. When you are broken, I will bind you up, and I will hold you very close to my fatherly heart. And I will comfort you as a